I think the recording has started. So
yes.
Let's elaborate more on what do you think. This is a bit. Is it lifestyle issue, or you think there are other issues around it?
So I think, like you said, the concept of loneliness, in my view, could be a very technical issue that we can discuss in detail. So when you look at what loneliness means, so when I talk about loss of connect. So if you look at from a technical point of view, from brain science point of view, there are some people who are not able to feel the connect. People who are socially awkward, people who have social anxiety. We have people who suffer from what we call as autistic spectrum disorder. There are people with what we call as Asperger's. These people lack the ability to be social. So, which means they're not forming that social relationship which makes them feel connected.
Right.
So they're, you may have come across them as loners, people who are shy. But in fact, sometimes some of these people don't actually feel that they are lonely because they are very comfortable in their own world, doing their own little things. Sometimes you may have, people use the word nerd, for instance. They're a bit awkward, but they're very good with what they do. That's one aspect of it. So this is probably something to do with how they are made, their brain wiring, as it were. But then there are also people who've had very bad experiences in relationships, and hence they don't want to get into one. Abuse, neglect, betrayal. There are many, many reasons why people would say, look, you know what, I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't want to make friends. It's too much to bear because I've had bad experiences. That's another group of people. And like you said, with lifestyle, one of the things I see in my practice a lot is people who have gone up their career ladder. When they get to a certain point, they feel very lonely at the top. You may have in your business heard about this spoken very frequently. It's always lonely at the top because if you're a CEO of a company, chairman, if there's a decision to be made, you can't ask your driver, you can't ask your wife, you can't ask your children. You have a board, but sometimes the board looks to you and says, look, we've given our inputs, now the decision is yours. I see that with politicians a lot, when they're negotiating very difficult things, company, business leaders, company executives. So it can be lonely that way. And many times, like you said, we haven't really cultivated the culture of connecting and sharing, which leaves us lonely because, we find it very difficult to interact with new people. So, like you said, it could be a combination of things, but increasingly we're seeing this as a part of our lifestyle society. But if you're, again, going back to something technical, people have equated that to smoking so many cigarettes a day. The effect of loneliness on people's health, for instance, can be, devastating. It's a very significant social problem, from a health and social care point of view. And people who are lonely, die young, they can. And, it also can predispose them to severe mental health problems. There are several of them, So I know, and it's a bit technical. We can have a whole debate on what we should do about it and how we should overcome that. But technology does help in bridging some of the gap when used in the right way. I must emphasize in the right way, because sometimes technology promotes loneliness. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when you look at say a social media feed like Facebook or Instagram. And mind you, people put their best pictures or the best
that's what
online. Exactly. Yeah. But then you look at it and then you're thinking, exactly. You feel jealous, you feel inadequate, you feel insecure, and they say, what? No, I'm the one with the most problems in the world. I don't want to engage with the world. So on and so forth happens as well. So it's very important, and it's a complex issue, to a certain extent, But I'm glad that we're picking this up, and I'm hoping that a lot of people will, write in and share.
This is the whole point. The point is, the way I'm looking at it is, you have an expert perspective on this. So you are looking at it from a very, very technical perspective, and you're trying to branch out and trying to understand the non-technical part of it. So you see, then this becomes interesting conversation. So you have one part of people who seem to understand the brain, but they don't.
No.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
We think we do, but we don't. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have these gurus, and I keep saying gurus because they come across as gurus. They don't have understanding of how a human brain works. They don't understand why we conceive a thought. What's the process behind conceiving a thought? Why we get into a situation where we start to feel lonely, where we start to feel depressed. So, technically we need to spend a lot of time researching this. But the reason why I'm also saying is I feel that there is an element of lifestyle in it is because we create sometimes our own conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
We create sometimes our own expectations.
Absolutely.
And we find ourselves then immersed and overwhelmed because of our own lifestyle issues. So I don't want to name people, but I know very high-flying executives. The world thinks highly of them, and they're fantastic achievers. But they need to get drunk every day. And do I feel sad? Not at all, because if it helps them, fantastic. If it gives them the comfort. I know you probably know a lot of people have to do drugs to perform at the best level.
So many.
You have performance coaches who get you to an optimum level to perform, to get the best out of you, to extract more value out of you. So the point of our discussion, and the reason why I think this is a great idea, hopefully, is maybe a lot of people are having the same thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe people are saying, maybe what I'm going through is normal. Maybe I don't need to worry about am I lonely. Maybe I don't need to worry about am I happy. Maybe I don't need to worry about am I getting the right performance. Maybe I don't need to worry about am I making the right decision. Because if you look at the world looks very chaotic today.
Yeah.
Because we are overwhelming ourselves with the information, and as you said, we are putting in Instagram pictures. There are people who have developed a business out of Instagram, right? I mean, we all know. And the thing with business is, and the trend is very cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
So when people have getting to a place, and I think scientifically it's very possible, that there will be a social media fatigue.
Yeah.
There will be an information fatigue. There will be an Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook fatigue. Eventually people will go there. Then what happens to these people who feel that they are value adders to the society? And it goes back to our original discussion in what sort of value is being created. This is what we talk about. We have a financial world where, I try to give an example to our own, my colleagues, and say, what value are we creating in the world of economics? Economics is a manufactured idea. Now, when you have a client and you walk them through a process, a journey, and at the end of the day, they come out of it happier, more stable, fixed in a way, that is a lot of value that you've added to the client. And they can see the value, you can really see the value of it. Now, I see in the world where everybody is trying to get rich, whether through motivational speaking, whether through teaching people how to make money. I don't see where is the value add there.
Absolutely.
Everybody's extracting value, and nobody's adding value. It's like everybody's trying to drink from the same river, but nobody's pouring in more water in the river. So eventually that river will dry up. And this is where I think the chaos is happening in the society, that people are seeing that the economy is changing, they're not getting the jobs, they don't have the skill that they thought will give them that job. So a lot of the changes is happening in the society for right or wrong reason, and people are feeling kind of isolated.
Absolutely.
And I think this is what maybe we will continue talking about it. Because I think what we'll do is we've touched on a number of ideas, and I think let's see if there is a reaction to it, and let's see what feedback there is. And our role, I don't see there is an agenda. We don't have an agenda and anything. Our role is to see who's out there. Maybe there is a Sanjeev and a Dr. Balu somewhere, and maybe they could say, guys, this is exactly what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Remember in the coffee shop, and there are two guys in London who are also talking about this. So I think, maybe we can encourage these people.
Exactly, but those are the guys we are trying to reach through this. I think we're coming up to the 10-minute mark. We'll have a couple more minutes on this. I think that I should share this with you, Sanjeev, that we're talking about this. I recently saw a very young girl. She was very, very disturbed. So my team was very worried. They said you must see her. Although our team is not supposed to see her technically, but we said, look, we'll go and see her, go out of the way and see her. And I said, look, tell me about, who are you, what's your interest? And she said, you know what, I invested so much money in very good quality video equipment and lighting because I wanted to share my experience with the world and want to be a motivational speaker. I said, that's a great idea. I said, what stopped you? And she said, look, I'm not perfect. Now, I don't know anything about the subject. I'm not qualified. And there are a lot of these people out there, who do it in a certain way. So I spent a lot of money doing that. So she became so critical of herself that she wanted to kill herself, literally walk into traffic and destroy herself because, that she couldn't do it. And you know what? Our video should be an inspiration for people like that, yeah? We are amateurs, yeah? We could hire people to do this for us, but that is by the by.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that, people like that come out and talk about their views to the people like you said, in coffee shops around the world, saying, hey, we're just having this conversation. We want to share it with the world. See what they think. There's a lot of stuff out there. Let's make some sense of this,
I think, this is what we'll do. I think, I think there is a real phobia among people that what if the world discover I'm worthless?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
what's the big deal?
What's the big deal? Yeah. So
and create worth. We say create worth, create value.
Yeah.
But that is what is important. Don't worry too much about what the world can think about you in any way they want, right? If you do this, they will think this. If you do that, they will think this. So you can't win, you can't win, So I think it's about bringing out the originality in people, but also, like you said, value.
Yeah.
Creating value and not just extracting value, because there's only so much you can extract, but when it becomes a process of creation, we can keep creating it, yeah? So I hope,
let's see. We'll put it out there. We'll post it on YouTube, and then let's see how people are reacting.
Exactly. And even if you get one comment, just from us, it's worth keep going. And I'm thinking, if you do 2 or 3 a day, in a year we'll probably do 1,000.
Yeah, let's do it.
So thanks to YouTube because it's still free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
So we have 13 minutes now. So that's fantastic.
That's
All
good.
right.
Cool.
Okay, let's see what people will say.
Yeah, we'll stop it there.